All right. So you were a rower in college at the University of San Diego.
Yep.
Talk about like how you got into rowing. Is that something that you came upon in college, or?
So I was never a rower. I always played volleyball, and swimming was my main sport. And I'm tall, and I literally walked on campus, and the coaches asked what sports team I was on at USD, and I said, I'm not on a sports team. And they're like, oh, perfect, so you're coming to rowing practice tomorrow. And I was like, no, not for me.
Nice.
And they harassed me for the next 3 weeks until I finally caved and joined the team.
Cool. And then so what conference does USD compete in?
They are in the West Coast Conference.
Okay, cool. And so what's like a day in the life like a rower in college? Like what's that look like?
So it's busy.
Yeah.
I wait for the first semester. We had much earlier practices. Second semester they changed it up.
Yeah.
But I woke up at 4:45, 4 days a week. Practice started at 5:15.
Wow.
So we were on the water at 5:15 down in Mission Bay, and practice went till 7 or 7:30, depending on how we did that day.
Right.
And class, and then 2 to 3 days a week we had either. I think it was 2 days a week we had weights in the afternoon at around 4 or 4:30 for an hour, or we were on the rowers for an hour.
Cool. So a lot of rowing.
Lots of rowing.
Yeah. And so was there an off season, or is it mostly year round, or so mostly year round?
Off season, I guess, is summer.
Summer, right? Wow. So the whole school year.
The whole school year.
So now you're how many years out of rowing?
I am.
What was your last season?
My last season was 2009.
Okay, 2009.
3 years.
So 3 years out of rowing. And just the other day, this is kind of the reason why we're talking, you had a PR in what now?
My 2K.
The 2K row, which, talk about the significance of the 2K row as a competitive rower.
As a competitive rower, it's probably your most important,
stat?
Yeah, exactly, your most important stat.
Yeah.
And you can kind of compare it to a mile run, what's your mile time? So this is you know how good a rower is by their 2K time.
Right, okay.
And even though it's very different when you're in a boat because you go much faster when you're on the water with a crew.
Right.
This kind of determines your individual strength.
Right.
And your endurance.
Okay.
Because it's an all-out sprint, coughing up blood.
Wow. So how often would you test that in college, for example?
We would probably test our 2K anywhere from once a month to maybe once every month and a half.
Wow. So while you were a competitive rower, we'll say like your daily purpose was to be good in a boat on an erg. What was your PR in college?
I can't remember the specific number, but I know it was around a 7:57.
7:57. And then just recently you had a PR, which was?
7:52.
7:52.5. Wow. So what's your rowing volume look like now?
In terms of how much I row?
Yeah.
Compared to 7 hours a day?
Yeah.
Is probably twice a week.
Yeah, twice a week. that's pretty impressive. So what are the things that you're doing? Obviously you're here at CrossFit LA.
Yeah, so
training CrossFit.
Training CrossFit, and I'm doing functional fitness on the Bluffs, and it's just been an entirely different way of going about working out.
Right.
I mean, we did do CrossFit-like things in weight training, but we only had that twice a week. We were only in the weight room twice a week, as opposed to.
So there's a lot of factors that could come to mind. I don't think you could say it's a gym or something in particular movement, but the gist of it is you're rowing considerably less. Mm-hmm. Your purpose in life now isn't to be necessarily just good in a boat, right? And now you're better at it than when it mattered and you had to compete. So if you could attribute that to something, what is it? Is it the whole thing? Is it the nutrition, the life? What is it?
I've been thinking a lot about that since I got my PR. How could I do that now?
Yeah.
And I really think that it's this is something I do for me now. And the training is a big part of it. Nutrition is definitely a huge part of it because when I was on the team, coach was like, eat 4,000 calories a day.
Right,
and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Pasta.
Yeah.
Pasta, burgers. And I didn't realize I didn't feel anything because that's how I normally ate. Yeah. But I would, eat I would carb load like crazy because sometimes we'd be on the water for 5 hours and we'd just be starving. And now that I kind of feel a difference in my eating habits, I think that has helped a lot.
That's cool.
And just the variety in training has been really cool because I'm not sitting down stationary, you know, just rowing. I'm doing lots of different things that are building different muscles, and I think that has considerably improved my athletic performance.
Yeah. So you would say, could you say you're in better shape now, or your skill set is bigger now than it was before?
Yeah, definitely a bigger and better skill set.
And that's usually the experience, but it's just your story is interesting because you're considerably better as a rower now that you're not even just a rower. You know, it's like a small part of your life. So that's cool. Anything else about just like the whole lifestyle and training experience? I mean,
it's definitely been amazing. I don't think I could ever stop now.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was hard for me to get back on an erg after quitting. Because I was like, oh, I hate this. Like, this was just like torture for me. And now I'm like, I kind of want to do some indoor competition.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Kind of have to.
That's cool. Well, awesome. Thanks. That's congratulations.
Thank you.